the top bar that you see in an Android application is called Actionbar. So it has the title, it has a back button, for example, or you can additionally add a menu on the right-hand side, which could have icons, titles, but these are actual buttons for user to navigate or do something very fast. They are pretty straightforward, so I don't think we'll have any issue on understanding or playing with them. So let me start by sharing my screen. Okay, so as usual, I open the Android Studio with the basic setup, like as you already know. How was it? New project, sorry. And the basic activity, which actually you are able to see here that there's this action bar with back button and these three dots, which represents the overflow menu. So when you click that, a pop-up menu will open, for example, or it can be just a menu itself, like three icons or two, whatever, however you like. So I already opened this project already, so I guess you already have, or you can open it in the meantime. So what we are going to do is basically in the code, as you can see, we are going to talk about these parts on options item selected on create options menu and the toolbar itself here. So let's start. What I want to do first is to put this toolbar into a variable. Let's do it like this. I'm just copying, pasting this to a variable called Actionbar. It complains because it doesn't know the type. We didn't state toolbar. By the way, if you're already having the setup for the view binding that I teach in 2 lessons ago, you can use that. I was just lazy to do that again, so I'm just using this find view by ID method. But otherwise, you know how to do it, like binding toolbar. So we are setting the action bar. So we set the action bar to the activity. What we can do with the action bar, that's the point. Let's see. We are saying get support or support action bar. We first need to be sure that it is not null. Unfortunately, that's one thing. Let's do it. Or we can basically do it like this. And we are checking what are the options we have. So we can, after the dot, as you can see, Android Studio is giving us options. We can set a title. We can set a logo. Set logo, as you can see. There is this method set display use logo enabled, or set display house as up enabled. This means the back button actually, like on the top of the action bar. Like for example, if you have multiple screens, you might want to show the back button for the application. Let's set it up, for example, to true. So we will have a back button for now. Let's also add a support action bar, set logo, because why not? How to reach the logos? We are going to the R drawable folder, which is actually representing these images that we already have in the project. Soon we will show you how to add or have more images. But for now, I will use this one, launcher background. So I basically have a action bar like so. Let's run this to show you what it looks like very fast. Yeah, this was from a previous run I have. It's running again. Okay, So the image looks a bit ridiculous, but whatever. There's the spec button and our title is written. You can hide this title, for example, again, like with methods. It's supported by the action bar. Title, I guess it's, you can set a title actually like this, or set, I don't actually remember how we were taught. Hiding the title. But whatever, let's pass this for now because we have a lot of other things. So one more thing, for example, we can also set a custom toolbar, like it's a bit too much of an information maybe, but we can make it a different. How are we gonna do it? Like, I'm just gonna click this toolbar that's already get created for us. You can say it's here, like defined as toolbar. We can even like, for example, set a title on our own. This is actually a layout, like the linear layout or a constraint layout that is that Johanna told you previous time. So we can have, for example, a text view inside this. Which will define the title, for example. But this is pretty much it. Like, I'm just gonna copy paste everything here to make it faster. Example, let's need to close this. Yes. Let me fix this very fast. Okay. So, yeah. Sorry, Andrich is a bit slow today. Yeah. So you can have a text view inside of this. You can set the orientation, where it is going to be located and everything, but I will not get into detail of this for now. This was one thing. You can also, as you can see, there are themes defined. So you can actually have a different color, different title, different style for the action bar. So it doesn't need to be this color, for example, or it can we can manually change everything related with this. But this is also the next lesson's topic. Let's go to the menu thing. This is another thing I would like to talk. Just a minute. If we will go to our main activity, as you can see, we have this on create options and on options item selected. A method that's already created for us. What it does is like we have in activities we have something called menu inflator, inflate, and we are having this. And so what is inflate? As I told you before, that is reading the XML files and that's creating these objects and visualize renders, let's say rendering inside the activity. So if you will go inside this menu main that's already created for us, here you can see a very nice menu, which is only having one button here with the 3 dots defined. So we can basically, actually, I can show you very fast that, or you can see it visually here. So I'm not gonna run this again. We can add another button. As you can see, it's already popped up here, but we only need to have a name, specific name for it. Let's say settings 1. So we can change the title of this. Of course, this is defined on the strings file as I showed you before. So I'm just going there. We can define another, for example, menu item. Let's say menu item, menu 1, okay? Let's go to here, menu. I'm gonna change the ID to menu item 1, menu item. So you can see it's written as menu 1 here. So we have 2 buttons. What else we can do is we can add a logo, for example, an image to this It was icon, I guess, yes. And why we will do it by selecting a drawable again. Launcher, I don't know, foreground. It will have a icon. The thing is, right now we are saying that we show as action as never. So that's why actually these are represented, these buttons are represented under these three dots. So we can change this to be shown every time, for example, show as action, let's say always. So as you can see, it changed to a separate button here. That it stays here. There are other options for that too, which I don't remember all, but let's see. When I click Control Space on my Mac, I can see these things, as you can see. With text, never, collapse, action view, always iframe. These are our selections. So iframe is also important. It is only if these buttons, that the menus, that menu items that I add will fit onto the screen. Otherwise, it will show inside these three dots, for example. So it's pretty straightforward to play with this. I mean, you can basically do anything you want. Let's go to the main activity for now. So after creating this, as I said, Inflate creates these XML files. It was same for the layout too. We have this on options item selected method here to define our actions with these menu items. So here you can see, we didn't tell you this, I guess, but we have a then statement. It's basically an if, so you can also write if, but I'm just to show you how to do this. I'm gonna use this right now, the then. So for example, I want to define something for my button, okay? I will go right, our ID, this is our resource file, has the IDs. And what was the ID we defined is the menu item. So clicking this, supposed to do something. So I'm defining this, opening curly brackets, since this is going to be, for example, 2 lines. What we want to do, okay, I will just copy paste this for now, okay? Here, the snack bar, so you will see something visual on the screen. Okay, this is, let's make something else for you, actually. This would be even better. I will show a toast message. This is something we use for showing messages to the screen. Let's say this to this context message. I'm gonna put a message, and we need to select time for this message to pop up. Show, and I am saying return, sorry, true. So whenever I will click this item, I will see this message on the screen. And there's another thing also for this button, back button we defined. We can also have an action for that. But this is like, since we defined it is here and set display home as up enabled. So it doesn't, we didn't define any ID for this. So in order to reach this, we are writing, this is an Android specific back button. Our ID, yes, it's supposed to be home. Yeah. Finish. Of course, this is going to be like this, and return true. So let's run our code. So in the meantime, I can get your questions. I will show you what's going to happen. So do you have any questions? Seems like you don't, but let's wait. I will show you how it's going to look like. Okay, it's running. So we have the setting button here inside the overflow menu. We have this button that I set show always. So it's always going to show this. I defined this back button here on this, if I will just move it a bit, as Android R ID home is finished. So it will just finish our screen. And this menu button is going to press a toast message. So let's press this menu. I didn't see the toast message. Guess I did something wrong. Let's press this back button. It's closes, I guess, as you can see. For this one, let's go and check. Show as action as always. Let's see what we did wrong. Make tags. Yeah, I guess it's about the duration of this. If I will run it again, by the way, we are almost out of time. Please ask your questions if you have any. Okay, for some reason this is not working, but as you can see, you can define your methods here. You can define your actions inside this on options item selected. You can call your methods, or you can just call your functions to do things, basically, or you can just hide and play with this. If you will go into menu layout here, you can play with this a bit. You can change the title icon, the style, how it's going to show on the screen. In the activity menu, you can have this toolbar. You can play with the theme, and you can also define your own title or your own style action bar, and you can set it. You can also play with support action bar properties by clicking this. I hope it's okay. In case you will have any problem like working with this, just let me know, and we can talk. I can answer your questions on Slack channel. So thank you for joining. That is all from me for now. We will continue tomorrow.